Welcome back to Citizen Extra. One of the big stories we are following today is one that's been developing for the better part of this week. More than 4,000 Ethiopians have crossed into Kenya seeking refuge since March 10th. The Kenya Red Cross said on Tuesday. They fled the country in the wake of their government's crackdown on dissidents, with Ethiopian soldiers being accused of killing at least 13 people on Saturday. Now, joining us in studio to talk a little bit about this via Skype is Tsedale Lemma. She's an editor-in-chief of the online editorial Addis Standard, based in Frankfurt, Germany. Tsedale, good morning. I trust you can hear me?
Good morning to you.
Good. A lot has happened, Tsedale, since we last spoke. The Prime Minister, Haile Mariam Desalegn, resigned. A state of emergency was called. Parliament met. Now, Ethiopian soldiers are accused of having killed 13 people. And now we have refugees, over 7,000, between 5,000 to 7,000 or so, coming into Kenya. Help us to make heads or tails of what's actually happening at the moment.
Well, what's happening is, as you correctly described it, the Parliament has ratified the state of emergency, which was first proposed by the Council of Ministers. In effect, the command post that is established to oversee the state of emergency is in charge of running the country as we speak. It has been a very difficult 1 month. Emergency, because we have seen a dramatic increase in the casualties of civilians in the hands of military, which is in charge of implementing the state of emergency as we speak. So what happened on Saturday in Yale town is not from what's happening in the rest of the country, particularly in Oromia regional state. It's just a continuation of the army's crackdown against civilians and against civilian institutions, particularly in the region.
What effect do you think the accusations of killings in Oromia near the Kenya border will have on the divided coalition that is the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front? We know that it's not been as united as it has been in the past. What effect will the accusations of these killings have on it?
Well, I mean, the killings have different dynamics into it. If you remember that when the Parliament approved the state of emergency, the biggest rejection for this proposal came from parliamentarians that are representing the Oromia regional state, or the OPDO, which is the largest party within the coalition of the EPRDF. They see this state of emergency as an attempt to crack down on the leadership of the OPDO, because that leadership has emerged as amongst the other parties that make up the ruling EPRDF. It has emerged, or it has a wing that emerged as a reformist party, including the current president of the regional state, Lemma Magersa, and what we call the Team Lemma. So many see this state of emergency as an attempt to crack down on the reformist section of the OPDO. And I think the army's action in the region proves this argument right, because what we see is an unprecedented crackdown, not only against individuals, but also institutions within the region. This morning, there is a news that the head of the PR and communication department of the Oromia region justice office has been picked up by the members of the command post. We have also seen mayors being detained. We have also seen the deputy commissioner of the police of the regional state detained. We have seen other lower-level local administrators being detained since the state of emergency came into effect.
So help us understand, and help our Kenyan audience to understand, who is in charge right now in Ethiopia definitively, and also the process of selecting a new prime minister. How far along is that?
Well, to begin from your second question, we don't know how far that is going to be, but what's happening right now is the executive council of the four parties that make up the EPRDF has been in a meeting since last Sunday. Normally these meetings, the executive meetings, happen prior to the council's meeting. The council meeting is the one that is expected to be electing a new prime minister. But as we can see now, even the executive meeting is not coming to an end. And there is no official information coming out to the media as to what exactly is happening inside the closed door of this executive committee meeting, which has a membership of 36 powerful members that constitute the four parties there. So we expect that the council meeting will follow once the executive meeting is over, and this council is the one that is expected to elect the next prime minister if they reach into any kind of acceptable consensus, that is. But there's a lot of doubt whether or not this party is going to be reaching into any sort of consensus, given the fracture that we have witnessed in the last few months among the parties themselves.
Finally, sorry,
I forgot your first question.
The first question was
focusing on the second one. If you repeat it for me, please.
In terms of who is in charge right now, the Prime Minister announced his resignation. Does he still have powers?
Yeah, well, who is in charge of technically right now? It's the country is under a state of emergency. The state of emergency has a command post, which is led by the Minister of Defense, and you can say technically that it is the army that is in charge of running the government right now, because we have an outgoing prime minister. We don't have a replacement for him so far, and the ones that are calling the shots on the ground are the army members that are detaining individuals, that are cracking down on institutions. So technically you could say that Ethiopia is right now under a military command post.
Finally, the economy is always a big discussion. What effect has this push and pull had on the Ethiopian economy? I read in some relief agencies are reporting that an estimated 7.9 million people in Ethiopia currently require emergency food assistance as well. So there's a drought. How is the economy dealing with all that's happening in Ethiopia?
Well, the economy has been struggling. The economy did not fully recover from the first state of emergency that was barely a year ago. The economy was dealt with a severe blow due to that state of emergency. The tourism section has been hit very hard, and other sectors of the economy as well, including manufacturing, which has been struggling ever since many years, you could say. So there is no illusion. I think nobody should have any illusion as to the negative impact on the economy of running a country under a military leadership. It's the 7.8 people that are requiring food assistance. They have been around. The drought in Ethiopia has been there for the last more than 2 years, I guess, due to the effect of the El Nino, and that donors have been trying to support, assist, along with the government. So these 7 million, 8 million people are on a permanent list of needing food assistance since long. So this is just an extension of the last 2 years of severe drought in many parts of the country, particularly the eastern and the southeastern part of the country. So they have been on food assistance even previously, but they're not been able to taken out of this list because of the El Nino effect that hit the country in the last 2 years.
Okay, thank you so much just for helping to put that into perspective for our audience. That's Tsedale Lemma, Editor-in-Chief at the Standard based in Frankfurt, Germany.